morning, everyone. I would like to thank FEMCAT for inviting me to this seminar. Again, this time with a different logo because I've been working for 6 weeks only with the good family of the fine family of BonPreu. I'm going to show you several things. People at FEMCAT asked us to give examples, specific examples of projects that have been implemented at BonPreu. Until the end of January, I was in charge of big data and data science at the Science Center Eurocat, and also directing the CDI public-private partnership. That was an initiative we worked on together with the secretary of the Catalan government. However, I'd been working for 10 years at the same site, and I read an article by Albert, the speaker who spoke first, and I said, 10 years, I need to change my job because otherwise I'm not up to date with the latest trends. And I work for BonPreu now. Why did I choose them? Because they set up a whole department on data analytics. So does this mean that BonPreu was not using data to make decisions? They were, and successfully so. They're a very successful company. I'm going to show you some of the data that I consider to be relevant, because this is a presentation I prepared myself. But after many years of using data in this or other department for specific purposes, they decided it was necessary to work in a cross-cutting manner and to make one step further towards having a data-driven culture. So what I'm going to show you now is just a list of numbers and examples to help you think about what I've experienced in the past few years about some key aspects of ensuring a data-driven culture in organizations. Here we go. Now, figures about BonPreu. Turnover last year, obviously thanked by many establishments being shut down through the pandemic. However, 1.9% growth, 1.2 billion euros in turnover as of until February, 118% growth of online shopping, investing, as you can see, 8,900 people working there. So 79% of people with responsibilities are women. We have 4 warehouses, 700 trucks every day, 20,000 items, products. As you can see, 1.2 million clients, 65 million shopping events. We cover 1.2 million Catalans with a home delivery service, 17 collection points, 25 photovoltaic PV sites that allow us to save 2,500 tons of CO2, recycling paper and plastic about 10,000 tons, 100% green power, 1.2 active customers in the past year with a Fidelity loyalty card, 65,000 events and 687 million ticket lines. So I'm very proud, as you can see, 3rd year back to back being the best valued supermarket by the Catalan Consumption Office. So all of this is information. Obviously, there are a lot of complex processes behind and they need to be properly managed. So when we have a very complete view of the data, all of this works smoothly. Let me just give you some examples. And I'll start by offering pieces of information about our culture. What's the beginning? Well, we start with what's more critical. So a data strategy needs to be aligned with the business strategy. And by business, I mean everything. As a technologist, I believe that business means recruiting, it means marketing, sales, any managerial aspect that is fundamental for the company needs to be aligned with this data strategy. And there's a big mantra that I'm hearing at BonPreu, which is customer satisfaction. And to that end, we need to render them loyal and to obtain their satisfaction. So there's a model, depending on their life cycle, in order to offer them promotions and to offer value with the best discounts. These are some mathematical functions. I'm not going to dwell on them, but they take into consideration the seniority, the type of products, the matrix of subsegments that can reflect their reality best. And there's a lot of promotional events that can, in a way, contribute the highest value to customers. And that's extremely important. Every data-based action we carry out needs to be properly designed, but we also design how this action will be assessed. This whole process, whenever we change something or we implement an action, we need to design how it will be assessed, whether the action was successful. Because as part of the data culture, and this is something we'll see at the end, we also need to experiment. So we never stop doing this. We need to keep an eye on what's happening. The change in behavior that we spoke about, this means this is the way to go. Design, measure, adjust, redesign, measure, and adjust again. So, we cannot see the figures here, but it doesn't matter. These are the different years and how the company has evolved. Month after month, we design new plans every couple of weeks, but then we review results and we adjust if necessary. Let me give you a second example, which is about pricing. Following up on our customers, we need to be competitive in terms of price. And I can speak about several things that were mentioned by my colleagues. External data. Obviously, we have our own pricing policy, but we benchmark with others. So we're using an external tool called Net Rivals that has spiders that crawl and pick up 12,000 products from other suppliers in the country. And the tool itself uses AI techniques, because on top of the EAN, which is the number code, we don't always have it, so they base this on the description and the picture. So we try to compare ourselves with other supermarkets, not only with private brands, but also in terms of our own brand, those that are comparable. So accessing this little description of all products can also be very important. This is just a screenshot of how it works, but it's a weekly process with an automatic pricing proposal that is manually validated. As we will see when implementing huge automating tools, there has to be an interaction, a human interaction with them, with many of them at least. So there's an automatic proposal, then we validate it manually with a view to coming closer to the most aggressive competitor. And thirdly, I'll show you other projects later that we're also working on, but I'd like to dwell on this particular thing, which is the third project that it focuses on warehouse management, but it has a primordial goal which helps us move forward as BonPreu, is for customers to find whatever they have on their shopping list, which means minimizing products that cannot be found on the store, also minimizing, and that's why it's so complex, and why we have this machine learning algorithms. It helps us minimize stocks, not only the missing items in shops, because otherwise you would need an infinite warehouse, extremely costly, and we wouldn't be competitive, but also minimize stocks. And given that fresh produce is very valuable, we need to manage the products with a very short best by date, which means managing data. it's called human-generated data. Many such stock-related data are human-based. They need to count things. A great deal is automated, but it has to be rigorously defined. The quality of data, as we will see, is key. It has been said before: garbage in, garbage out. That's how mathematical models work. If you have bad data, you make bad decisions. So data about stocks, sales, warehouses, and they work on the orders of the current stock in stores, in the warehouse, the historic data per product and store. They're different depending on whether they're seasonal, they're on the coast or inland, and the minimum time between when an order is placed and when the product is delivered in the store. So when did we start with this kind of semi-automated orders? In 2011, we had a stocking time of 7.03 days. And after a lot of improvements and technological advances, we are right now at 4.02. So we have halved the necessary stock volume to minimize these missing items in stores. Some other examples. There's a long way ahead of us. Everything's interactive. Everything can be improved, right? Some of these are already in place, but others are still in their budding phase. How to better manage warehouses. Machine learning helps us. How to manage personnel to avoid rotation. Geo context and external data from EDSCAD, from calendars, as well as information that other private companies can provide with a reality that we don't know. We know our own customers, but there are other companies with anonymized data that can provide you with the rest of the picture. Multi-channels, assortment, and routes, and how to manage all of these. It's quite easy. I just selected several, but I could give you 50 different examples of how we're doing this. And the last slide here. So a description that we already had from 2015 with the CDI advisory plan, but a data-driven organization notices and understands the value of processing internal and external data and implements a data strategy in its different departments and functions to optimize processes and better decision making and innovation. So that's, in a nutshell, the definition we put forth and we try to implement all over Catalonia. What are some of the key aspects to me? Prioritizing. Data strategy needs to be completely loyal to the business strategy, and you need to pick and choose. You have your own cost benefit matrix, right? You have some ideas about what needs to be done, but it might be a bit too difficult if you don't have the data, or it will take a long time. So don't do it now. Business first, Don't trust the people in charge of technology, but trust the business first and see how technology can help you. Let us not forget that we're speaking about quite a transformational process. Data are key in digital transformation. If you have a digital backbone, these can be sped up, but we'll talk about working differently, collecting data that are based on evidence, the gut feeling, your experience, which is a value. The human mind always will keep evolving and becoming more experienced. However, if we have data that can help us make that argument or choose, it has to be done. And just like with any other transformational process, it has to be led by the top management. There's a department here at BonPreu at the same level than others, and we have the top leaders that are the first to lead this ahead. Otherwise, we wouldn't succeed. Quick wins and how to manage change, how to govern data, data owners, the quality of data, single definitions that are written and well known. And I'll finish now, I promise. What's a shopping event? It's a ticket. No, wait. We need to analyze tickets only regarding food or also from gas stations. No, wait. Usually you can buy bread outside the supermarket. Some people buy inside or outside. Is this a ticket or these are two tickets? Now, all of this needs to be defined. Otherwise, people are not referring to the same things. And from an ethical point of view as well, it has been said today I think we've gone over the limit. It's no longer about abiding by the law only, but we need to be ethical. We have the European Union and the regulation. We need to know people are becoming more and more aware of data society and the fears that society may have and how to deal with this data, especially when we're talking about personal data, needs to be very, very rigorous. And finally, experience, as I said, experiment. We're not going to hit the nail on the head the first time around, which means the company needs to innovate little by little. Whenever we implement a new project, just define, see what the impact is, adjust, and keep improving. And finally, I said, okay, this is very expensive. Yes, I know, but it requires investment, and it has been proven that it adds value in the end. We can start at a small scale with software as service solution in order to tackle specific processes. Great. Let us prove that there's value. But if you want to have a general transformation, we need to do that in an integrated fashion all across the company. If we don't do that, we won't be competitive any longer. There's an investment, there will be a return, and we will become competitive, or else we won't. Thank you.